As we approach the 110th anniversary of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima, interest in these miraculous events has only intensified. The messages delivered to three young shepherd children in 1917 have remained a subject of deep reflection and discussion among the faithful, scholars, and theologians alike. Among these revelations, the Third Secret of Fatima has long been the most controversial and mysterious. Given the current global uncertainties and societal challenges, many are once again turning their attention to these prophecies, seeking greater clarity and deeper understanding. Recent discussions regarding the Third Secret of Fatima have prompted Pope Francis to offer his own reflections on the matter. Understanding the responsibility of his role as the Supreme Pontiff, he has spoken about the significance of these divine messages and how they relate to the future of humanity. But what exactly has been revealed? How do these messages shape our understanding of the present and the years ahead? And most importantly, how should we respond to these revelations? Join us in this in-depth exploration as we unravel the historical background, spiritual significance, and contemporary relevance of the apparitions at Fatima. We will not only examine what was revealed to the three shepherd children, but also what the Pope's recent insights mean for the world today. To truly appreciate the gravity of the Fatima revelations, we must first understand the extraordinary events that unfolded in the small village of Fatima, Portugal, over a century ago. It was on May 13, 1917, in a quiet meadow near Cova da Iria, that three young shepherd children, Lucia dos Santos aged 10, Francisco Marto aged 9, and Jacinta Marto aged 7 were tending their sheep. It was a day much like any other, with no indication that something extraordinary was about to take place. As the children played, a sudden burst of light illuminated the sky, unlike anything they had ever seen before. At first, they thought it might be lightning, signaling an approaching storm. But as they looked around, they saw no dark clouds, only the radiant, clear sky above them. Before they could make sense of what was happening, a second, even more intense light appeared, and at that moment, a beautiful, luminous lady stood before them, just above a small holm oak tree. This was the moment that changed their lives forever. Describing the heavenly visitor, Lucia later recounted that the lady was brighter than the sun, clothed in a robe of dazzling white and carrying a rosary in her hands. Her presence exuded an overwhelming peace and warmth, and though the children were momentarily awestruck, they felt no fear, only a sense of divine love and serenity. As the radiant figure stood before them, she spoke gently, instructing them to return to the same spot on the 13th day of each month for the next 5 months. She assured them that she would continue to visit them and reveal important messages that would shape their understanding of faith, prayer, and the world's spiritual future. The children, filled with awe and devotion, agreed to her request. However, when they shared their experience with their families and the villagers, they were met with disbelief, skepticism, and even hostility. Some accused them of fabricating stories, while others dismissed their claims as mere childish imagination. Despite these challenges, the three young visionaries remained steadfast in their faith and continued to return to Cova da Iria each month, as the lady had instructed. The growing attention surrounding the apparitions eventually caught the interest of local authorities, who were determined to put an end to what they believed was a hoax or a disruption to public order. In August 1917, the mayor of Arame, an official with strong opposition to religious influence, took drastic measures to prevent the children from attending their scheduled meeting with the lady. He had them detained and questioned them intensely, attempting to force a confession that they were lying. Despite their young age, Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta refused to deny their experience or change their story. They remained firm in their testimony, even under pressure. Their courage and unwavering faith became a source of inspiration, demonstrating their conviction that the apparitions were real and divine in nature. Even though they were prevented from meeting the lady on August 13th, they later received an unexpected apparition on August 19th while tending to their flock in Valinhos, a nearby village. This showed them that the heavenly message was not dependent on a single location, but rather on God's will and timing. As news of the apparitions spread, more and more people began flocking to Fatima to witness the event firsthand. By the time the final apparition occurred on October 13, 1917, a staggering 70,000 people had gathered at Cova da Iria. The faithful, skeptics, and members of the media stood together under the rain-soaked sky, waiting to see if the young shepherd's claims would be validated or disproven. Then, as the children gazed upon the celestial figure, something miraculous unfolded before the entire crowd. The sun, previously hidden by clouds, suddenly broke through and began to move in an astonishing manner. Witnesses described it as spinning, changing colors, and appearing to zigzag across the sky. This extraordinary phenomenon, later referred to as the miracle of the sun, was seen by thousands of people, including journalists, scientists, and skeptics, many of whom later confirmed that something unexplainable had indeed occurred that day. For many, this miracle was the final confirmation that Our Lady of Fatima's apparitions were true. It was not merely the word of 3 children, but an event witnessed by an entire crowd, something that could not be easily dismissed. The message of Fatima, a call to prayer and repentance. Beyond the miraculous events, the core message of Fatima was one of prayer, conversion, and repentance. The Lady identified herself as Our Lady of the Rosary and urged humanity to pray the Rosary daily, to seek repentance for sins, and to dedicate themselves to God's will. She emphasized that without a renewed commitment to faith, the world would face great suffering and tribulations. However, she also offered hope, assuring that prayer and devotion could bring peace and divine mercy. While the first 2 secrets were revealed in 1941, the Third Secret of Fatima remained a source of mystery and controversy for decades. Over time, the Vatican released information regarding its contents, and more recently, Pope Francis himself has spoken about the significance of these revelations. But what exactly has Pope Francis said? How do his insights align with the messages given to the 3 shepherds? And what does this mean for our world today? Join us in the next part as we delve deeper into the secrets of Fatima, the Vatican's role in interpreting them, and Pope Francis' revelations about what lies ahead for humanity. Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind one of the most powerful and enduring Marian apparitions in history. As the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima continued, skepticism surrounding the children's claims persisted. Many refused to believe that a divine presence had truly visited them, dismissing their experiences as mere fantasy or deception. Faced with this disbelief, the Blessed Lady reassured the children that a great miracle would occur the following month, proving to all that the events at Cova da Iria were indeed divine in nature. With the promise of a miraculous sign, anticipation grew, and on October 13, 1917, an enormous crowd gathered at the site. Despite heavy rain drenching the fields and turning the ground into thick mud, tens of thousands of people, including journalists, skeptics, and believers alike, stood waiting, their eyes fixed on the sky in hope and expectation. Then, just as the Blessed Lady had foretold, something extraordinary happened. The rain suddenly stopped, and the clouds parted, revealing the sun in an astonishing manner. Instead of appearing blindingly bright as one would expect, the sun took on an array of vibrant colors, transforming into a dazzling yet gentle disk that could be looked at directly without pain. Witnesses described it as radiating hues of yellow, blue, and violet, shifting in ways that defied natural explanation. Then, to the astonishment of the onlookers, the sun began to move. It spun like a fireball in the sky, casting beams of colored light across the landscape. As the phenomenon intensified, the sun zigzagged wildly, appearing at times to plummet toward the earth before suddenly returning to its place in the heavens. For 10 whole minutes, the crowd stood in awe, their voices filled with gasps, prayers, and cries of amazement. It was an undeniable miracle, a divine spectacle witnessed by an estimated 70,000 people, including skeptics who had arrived expecting to debunk the children's visions. Instead, they found themselves unable to deny what they had seen. The event was later called the Miracle of the Sun, and it became one of the most well-documented religious phenomena of the 20th century. Even secular news publications reported on the inexplicable occurrence, with journalists describing it as an event beyond human comprehension. However, while thousands bore witness to this divine sign, not everyone had the opportunity to see it firsthand. One man, gripped by fear and doubt, had chosen to stay home that day. He later recalled how he had heard people say that if the miracle did not occur, the entire family would perish. Uncertain and frightened, he refused to leave his house, only to regret his decision later when he learned of the astounding event that had taken place in his absence. With this miraculous display, the credibility of the apparitions was solidified, leading to the acceptance of 3 divine secrets entrusted to the children. But what were these secrets, and why have they remained so significant to this day? Among the 3 children, only one was destined to reveal the full message of Our Lady. Shortly after the apparitions concluded, tragedy struck Fatima, leaving behind only Sister Lucia to recount the divine messages that had been given to them. The outbreak of the Spanish flu pandemic swept through the region, claiming the lives of Francisco Marto in 1919 and Jacinta Marto in 1920. Both children, despite their suffering, accepted their fate with unwavering faith, offering their lives as penance for the world's sins. Francisco, though frail and ill, spent his remaining days in prayer, seeking to console the Lord's Sacred Heart. Jacinta, who endured great pain, also dedicated herself to praying for peace, the salvation of souls, and the well-being of the Holy Father. After their passing, Francisco was buried in the parish cemetery, while Jacinta was laid to rest in the family tomb. Later, in 1952, they were moved to a special tomb within the basilica at Cova da Iria, where they were honored for their faith and devotion. In 1979, they were officially beatified, and on May 13, 1989, Pope John Paul Roman II declared them venerable, recognizing their extraordinary holiness. Meanwhile, Sister Lucia, the eldest of the 3, survived the epidemic. In 1921, she entered religious life and later took her vows as a nun. Over the years, she was called upon to write down the secrets of Fatima, detailing the divine messages she and her cousins had received. Now, let's examine these 3 remarkable secrets, each offering a profound vision of humanity's spiritual destiny. The first secret of Fatima was a terrifying vision of the afterlife, shown to the children by the Blessed Lady. As they stood in divine presence, the ground beneath them seemed to vanish, revealing a vast and unimaginable abyss, a sea of fire filled with the tormented souls of the damned. Lucia described the sight as horrifying beyond words. She saw countless souls, writhing in agony, floating like burning embers in the flames. Their suffering was indescribable, accompanied by piercing screams and desperate cries for mercy. The demons, she recalled, took on horrifying shapes, resembling grotesque creatures never seen before, dark, transparent, and utterly terrifying. For the young shepherd children, this vision was almost unbearable. But it was not given to frighten them, rather, it served as a divine warning. The Blessed Lady made it clear that souls were being lost because people had turned away from God. However, she also offered a message of hope. This tragic fate could be avoided if humanity repented, returned to God, and dedicated themselves to prayer, particularly the Holy Rosary. Through prayer and faith, she assured them, many souls could be saved and wars and destruction could be prevented. The second secret was a message of redemption and divine protection. The Blessed Lady urged the children to spread devotion to her Immaculate Heart, promising that those who sought refuge in her would find peace and guidance toward God. This revelation filled the children with immense joy and reassurance. They understood that, despite the darkness in the world, Mary's love and intercession could lead countless souls to salvation. The children, filled with newfound purpose, often sang songs as they gathered wildflowers, joyfully calling upon the Blessed Virgin to intercede for sinners and bring them to the light of Christ. She also asked them a simple yet powerful question. Do you wish to offer yourselves to God, to endure all the suffering He may allow, in order to help atone for the sins that offend Him and to pray for the conversion of sinners? Without hesitation, the children answered with unwavering faith they wished to give themselves fully to God's will, embracing whatever suffering or sacrifice was needed for the salvation of the world. While the first and second secrets were revealed in 1941, the third secret of Fatima remained hidden from the public for decades, sparking endless speculation and debate. Many believed it contained a dire warning for humanity, one so powerful that the Vatican itself hesitated to reveal its full contents. But what did the third secret of Fatima actually reveal? How has the Church responded to its message? And what insights has Pope Francis shared about its significance in our time? Join us in the next part as we explore the final and most mysterious of the Fatima secrets, uncovering its profound meaning and what it foretells about the future of the world. As the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima continued, the Blessed Lady shared a profound promise with the three shepherd children, one that would shape their understanding of faith, devotion, and the destiny of the world. She made them understand that God had a divine plan, a mission that required the establishment of a global devotion to her Immaculate Heart. This devotion, she assured them, was not just a symbol, but a spiritual refuge, a path that would lead countless souls to God. She guaranteed that her Immaculate Heart would ultimately triumph, standing victorious in the battle against sin and darkness. This promise gave the children great comfort and hope, reaffirming that those who remained faithful would one day walk the road to heaven. However, with this promise also came a grave warning. The Blessed Lady revealed that a worse war would break out in the future, one that would be even more devastating than the ongoing First World War. She specifically warned that this war would occur during the pontificate of Pope Pius XI, a prediction that, as history later confirmed, came true when World War II erupted in 1939. To prove the accuracy of this prophecy, she spoke of a heavenly sign that would appear as a warning to the world. She told them that, on an unknown night, an intense light would illuminate the sky, serving as a signal that God's justice was near and that the world was on the brink of punishment. This punishment would come in the form of wars, famine, and persecution, consequences brought upon humanity due to its sins and rejection of God's guidance. However, this fate was not inevitable. There was a way to prevent these tragedies. The Blessed Lady revealed that the only way to avert these disasters was through the consecration of Russia to her Immaculate Heart and the observance of acts of reparation on the first Saturdays of the month. If these requests were fulfilled, she assured that peace would be restored to the world. Russia would undergo conversion. The spread of war and persecution would cease. However, she also warned that if these requests were ignored, the world would suffer horrific consequences. Nations would be destroyed, the Church would be persecuted, and many believers would suffer martyrdom. She made it clear that humanity had a choice to embrace God's call and secure peace, or to reject it and face the devastating consequences of sin. Her final words on this matter were filled with both urgency and reassurance. If the Holy Father consecrates Russia to me, the world will experience a period of peace. With this, the first two secrets of Fatima were revealed. But what of the third secret? What message did it hold, and why did it remain hidden for so long? Let's now explore the most mysterious of all the Fatima revelations, the third secret of Fatima. Unlike the first two secrets, which were revealed relatively soon after the apparitions, the third secret of Fatima remained hidden for decades. When Sister Lucia, the surviving visionary, received the message, she felt deeply conflicted about revealing it immediately. Although she was compelled to write it down at the request of her bishop, she sealed the letter, convinced that the world was not yet ready to hear its contents. For 19 years, the secret remained locked away. It was finally opened in 1960, but to the disappointment of many, it was not made public until the year 2000. So what did the third secret reveal? Sister Lucia described a chilling vision. She saw an angel holding a flaming sword, standing on the left side of the Blessed Lady. The fire from the sword seemed ready to consume the world, as though the earth itself was about to be set ablaze. The angel, with a powerful voice, shouted, "Penance, penance, penance." As the vision continued, a bright, immense light appeared, and within it, the children saw the image of a man dressed in white. He radiated light, resembling the way a person appears in a mirror when they walk past it. Though they were not explicitly told who he was, they assumed he was the Holy Father. What followed next was a vision that would leave an unforgettable impact. The vision showed a harrowing scene: various figures, including bishops, priests, men and women of faith, all ascending a steep mountain. At its peak, a large wooden cross stood, carved from the trunks of a cork tree. As the Holy Father walked through a ruined city, his face reflected deep sorrow and exhaustion. He prayed over the bodies of the dead, mourning the lives that had been lost. Trembling with grief, he continued his journey up the mountain, where he was met with a tragic fate. At the foot of the cross, a group of soldiers suddenly appeared. With arrows and bullets, they attacked the Holy Father, striking him down. The scene did not end there. One by one, those who followed him were also killed. Bishops, priests, and devoted men and women collapsed under the same assault, their blood spilled at the base of the cross. Beneath this scene, two angels stood holding crystal vessels. They gathered the blood of the martyrs, sprinkling it upon the souls who were ascending to God. It was a vision of sacrifice, persecution, and unwavering faith, a prophecy that pointed to great suffering within the Church. Many have speculated on the meaning of this vision, particularly in light of historical events that followed. One of the most striking connections was made on May 13, 1981, exactly 64 years after the first Marian apparition at Fatima. On that day, an assassination attempt was carried out against Pope John Paul II in St. Peter's Square. The attacker, Mehmet Ali Agca, fired 4 bullets at the Pope, critically wounding him. The Holy Father was immediately rushed to surgery, where he underwent an intense 5-hour operation to save his life. Despite the near-fatal attack, Pope John Paul II survived, and his response to the tragedy was remarkable. From his hospital bed, he forgave his attacker, declaring that he held no resentment or anger. His ability to extend mercy in the face of violence reflected the very heart of the Fatima message, a call for prayer, repentance, and love. The Pope later attributed his miraculous survival to the protection of the Virgin Mary. In an act of deep gratitude, he traveled to Fatima, Portugal, in 1982 to personally offer thanks at the shrine. During his visit, he presented the bullet that had nearly taken his life, which was later placed in the crown of Our Lady's statue. Miraculously, the bullet fit perfectly into an empty space among the crown's 8 golden stems. The Third Secret of Fatima has remained one of the most widely discussed and debated prophecies in modern times. While many believe its fulfillment has already taken place, others suggest that its message continues to unfold. So, what lessons can we take from these revelations? Prayer and repentance remain essential. Our Lady emphasized that the fate of the world is in our hands. Faith must endure even in times of persecution. The Church has faced struggles before, yet it continues to stand strong. The promise of peace still holds true. The Immaculate Heart will triumph as long as humanity responds to God's call. Could there still be more to come? Join us in the next part as we explore the ongoing relevance of Fatima's message and its impact on the world today. Some have attributed these miraculous events to the fulfillment of the Third Secret of Fatima. In fact, in the year 2000, the Vatican officially reported that everything concerning the Third Secret had been fulfilled. But the story did not end there. Years later, Pope Benedict XVI, who at the time was Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, shared profound insights into the meaning of this secret. Unlike the dramatic expectations many had built around it, his perspective on the vision was both clarifying and thought-provoking. When he was still a cardinal, Ratzinger explained that the Third Secret was never meant to be a revelation of an inescapable future. It was not a prophecy carved in stone, nor was it an unchangeable destiny awaiting humanity. Instead, he emphasized that the vision was intended to mobilize people toward transformation and renewal, guiding them away from dangers that could still be avoided. While some had speculated that the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul II was a direct consequence of the Third Secret, he dismissed the idea that the assailant had acted as part of a preordained divine plan. He also made it clear that, contrary to what some had assumed, humankind is not powerless in the face of these warnings. The vision was not a message of hopeless doom, but rather a wake-up call, a signal urging the faithful to take action and change the course of history through prayer, repentance, and devotion. The authenticity of Marian apparitions has long been a subject of deep consideration within the Catholic Church. While many apparitions have been recognized as genuine, others have been met with skepticism. To ensure that only true and divinely inspired visions are accepted, the Church follows a rigorous process of evaluation. Each reported apparition is first examined by the bishop of the diocese where it occurred, and in some cases, it may undergo further scrutiny by the Vatican itself. The process involves a careful assessment of the person receiving the apparition, their character, the consistency of the messages with Catholic teachings, and the spiritual fruits that result from the visions. Among the most well-documented and widely accepted Marian apparitions is the one that took place in Mexico in 1531, the apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe. During this encounter, the Virgin Mary appeared to Saint Juan Diego, instructing him to request the construction of a church in her honor. When he relayed her message, skeptics refused to believe him, demanding proof of his claim. In response, Mary provided a miraculous sign. She arranged a bouquet of fresh flowers in Juan Diego's tilma, a simple cloak made of cactus fiber. When he unfolded the tilma before the bishop, the flowers fell to the floor, revealing a stunning image of Our Lady imprinted on the fabric. This image, which has defied scientific explanation, remains intact and visible today in the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City. In Lourdes, France, a young girl named Saint Bernadette received 18 apparitions of Mary in 1858. Each time, Mary urged her to pray and lead others toward God. One of the most significant outcomes of these visions was the discovery of a miraculous spring, which has since become a source of healing for countless pilgrims. In 1879, in Knock, Ireland, Mary appeared alongside Saint Joseph and Saint John the Evangelist in a silent, nonverbal vision. Though she did not speak, her presence radiated peace and comfort to those who witnessed it. The apparition became a symbol of hope and spiritual renewal, leading to the construction of the Knock Shrine, which remains a major pilgrimage site. Another extraordinary apparition took place between 1981 and 1989 in Kibeho, Rwanda. Mary appeared to 3 children, urging them to pray the rosary 3 times daily. She also warned of a coming tragedy, a message that many later associated with the Rwandan genocide of 1994. However, she made it clear that her message was not only for Rwanda, it was meant for the entire world, calling all people to deeper faith and prayer. Even in the United States, reports of a Marian apparition have been recognized. In 1859 in Wisconsin, a woman named Adele Bryce received a vision of Mary instructing her to pray for the conversion of sinners and to teach children about the Catholic faith. Today, the Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help remains the only Vatican-approved Marian apparition site in the United States. One of the most recent and striking Marian apparitions occurred in 1973 in Akita, Japan, exactly 56 years after the Fatima apparitions. In this event, Sister Agnes Sasagawa received messages urging the world to repent and return to prayer. These messages bore a striking resemblance to the warnings given in Fatima, reinforcing the call for conversion and devotion to God. With so many documented apparitions occurring in different parts of the world, the message of Fatima continues to stand as one of the most profound. It is a message that calls for prayer, conversion, and trust in the Immaculate Heart of Mary. But what has Pope Francis revealed about the Third Secret of Fatima? How does it connect with the events of the modern world? Many believe that the Third Secret reflects the outbreak of wars, suffering, and martyrdoms, themes that have continued to unfold in various ways throughout history. In this regard, Pope Francis has made some striking observations that seem to echo the warnings given at Fatima. In November 2015, following a tragic attack in Paris, he made a bold statement, declaring that the world was already experiencing World War III in a fragmented manner. His words suggested that, although there may not be a single global war, multiple conflicts happening simultaneously in different regions were creating a similar level of devastation. Years later, in January 2023, Pope Francis once again issued a plea for peace, warning that what was happening in various parts of the world was beginning to resemble the early stages of another great global conflict. His repeated emphasis on these dangers suggests that the Fatima message is still deeply relevant today. Could it be that Pope Francis' statements reflect the unfolding of the Third Secret of Fatima? Are we, as Cardinal Ratzinger once explained, being called to action to change the course of history before it is too late? The answer may not lie in expecting one single event to fulfill the prophecy, but rather in recognizing the patterns of history, how wars, persecutions, and suffering continue to occur, and how humanity must respond to avoid further tragedy. While the Vatican officially stated in 2000 that the Third Secret had been fulfilled, the essence of its warning remains as relevant as ever. The vision was never meant to foretell a future that was set in stone, but rather to guide humanity toward making choices that could alter its path. The Third Secret is a call to action, a reminder that through prayer, faith, and devotion, we can redirect the course of history and seek peace. The story of Fatima is far from over. It continues to inspire, challenge, and call people back to faith. The question remains, will the world listen? The message of Our Lady of Fatima does not center on any single figure, but instead highlights the continuous role of spiritual guidance through the Church. Rather than attributing the fulfillment of these revelations to one individual, it reflects the ongoing mission of faith, prayer, and devotion that has been passed down through generations. The message remains a reminder that humanity is always called to seek peace, embrace prayer, and return to God's love. One of the most profound elements within the Third Secret of Fatima is the vision of angels calling for penance beneath the cross. This powerful imagery continues to resonate today, symbolizing the need for reflection, spiritual renewal, and devotion to prayer. It is a reminder that faith is a guiding force that leads individuals toward a path of hope, compassion, and divine protection. Throughout history, leaders of the Church have encouraged this call to spiritual renewal, urging people to remain steadfast in their faith and seek comfort through prayer. They have reminded the faithful to follow the teachings of Christ, to extend kindness to others, and to uphold the values of charity and humility. The Church, as a beacon of guidance, continues to inspire believers to strengthen their relationship with God and to live in harmony with one another. Now that the Third Secret has been revealed, many have reflected on the fulfillment of the other instructions given by Our Lady of Fatima. After the series of visions received by the three children, Sister Lucia experienced another profound moment of divine presence in 1929. During this special encounter, Our Lady appeared to her once more, reaffirming one of the most significant requests of the Fatima message, the consecration of Russia to her Immaculate Heart. This request led to continuous prayers seeking Our Lady's intercession for the spiritual transformation of Russia. In 1942, during a time of great uncertainty, Pope Pius Roman XII led a solemn act of consecration, entrusting the world to Our Lady's Immaculate Heart. This sacred act was repeated by subsequent popes, including Pope John Paul Roman II and Pope Francis, reinforcing the importance of faith and devotion in guiding the world toward peace and spiritual awakening. The request for this consecration was deeply connected to the growing need for prayer in a world that was experiencing profound changes. As history unfolded, many looked to the Fatima message as a source of hope, reassurance, and divine intervention. The importance of praying the rosary for peace and spiritual renewal was emphasized, and countless individuals dedicated themselves to Our Lady's call for faith and conversion. When Archbishop Tadeusz Kondrusiewicz of Moscow visited Sister Lucia, she asked him an important question: was he able to openly serve as an archbishop in Russia? When he confirmed that he was, she expressed her deep joy, stating that this signified that the prophecy of Fatima had been fulfilled. Today, the devotion to Our Lady of Fatima continues to flourish, with statues of Our Lady present in churches across Russia as a reminder of the divine message of Fatima. Many believe that the fulfillment of this prophecy is a testament to the power of faith and prayer, showing that through devotion, the world can be guided towards spiritual transformation and divine grace. But what does this mean for the third secret of Fatima? Now that we have explored the Pope's reflections on the third secret, we are left with thought-provoking questions about its deeper significance. Does this mean that all of Our Lady's requests have been fulfilled? Or is there still more to understand about the greater message within these revelations? Some believe that the prophecies of Fatima have fully unfolded, while others suggest that certain aspects remain open to further interpretation, leaving room for continued reflection and deeper understanding. Regardless of where one stands, one truth remains certain: the message of Fatima continues to inspire. The call for prayer, devotion, and trust in the Immaculate Heart of Mary is as relevant today as it was at the time of the apparitions. The Fatima message reminds us that through faith, kindness, and spiritual dedication, humanity can always seek the path of divine guidance and peace. What do you think about Sister Lucia's revelations and their meaning for the world today? Do you believe that all of Our Lady's instructions have been fulfilled? Or do you think there are still deeper mysteries within these divine secrets waiting to be uncovered? The message of Our Lady of Fatima continues to be a guiding light for many believers around the world, serving as a call to faith, prayer, and spiritual renewal. Over a century has passed since the first apparitions, yet the significance of her words remains as strong as ever. Many have reflected on the fulfillment of the third secret of Fatima, seeking to understand how it applies to the world today, and whether all of Our Lady's instructions have truly been met. While some believe that the requests made in Fatima have been completed, others wonder if there are still elements of the prophecy that remain to unfold. As history moves forward, the importance of prayer, devotion, and spiritual vigilance continues to be emphasized by the Church. The lessons drawn from Sister Lucia's revelations serve as a reminder that faith is a journey, one that requires continuous commitment and reflection. One of the central themes of the Fatima messages is the importance of consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. The call to entrust the world to her protection has been repeated throughout history, with various popes reaffirming the significance of this devotion. In response to the requests made in Fatima, the consecration of Russia was carried out multiple times, each instance reinforcing the belief that prayer and faith have the power to transform the world. The Rosary was emphasized as a powerful spiritual tool, a means by which individuals could seek Our Lady's intercession and strengthen their relationship with God. This simple yet profound prayer has been encouraged by the Church as a way to bring peace to the world and deepen one's faith. Many believers have taken this message to heart, incorporating the Rosary into their daily lives as a source of comfort, strength, and divine connection. Even though much has been fulfilled, the legacy of Fatima continues to inspire reflection. People often ask, what does the third secret mean for the future? Is it merely a vision of the past, or does it still hold relevance in the world today? Some believe that its message is timeless, serving as a continuous call to spiritual awakening and moral responsibility. Throughout history, the Church has played a crucial role in guiding believers toward a life of faith and devotion. The leadership of the Church is not tied to any one individual, but rather to the collective mission of bringing people closer to God. The message of Fatima highlights the importance of the Church's role in providing spiritual guidance, hope, and encouragement, ensuring that the faithful remain steadfast in their beliefs. One of the most powerful aspects of the Fatima revelations is the idea that faith is an active choice, something that must be embraced with sincerity and dedication. The vision of angels calling for penance beneath the cross reminds believers of the importance of personal reflection and renewal. This message is not meant to instill fear, but rather to offer an opportunity for transformation, showing that through faith, people can always find a path toward light and grace. Another profound moment in the Fatima story came when Archbishop Tadeusz Kondrusiewicz of Moscow visited Sister Lucia. She asked him whether he was able to freely practice his faith in Russia, and when he confirmed that he was, she expressed her deep joy, stating that this was a sign that the prophecy had been fulfilled. The presence of Our Lady of Fatima statues in churches across Russia serves as a symbol of faith and devotion, reminding the world of the transformative power of prayer. But beyond these historical fulfillments, what does the Fatima message mean for each individual today? For many, the message of Our Lady of Fatima is deeply personal. It serves as a reminder that each person has a role to play in bringing faith into the world. Whether through prayer, acts of kindness, or deepening one's relationship with God, the message remains one of hope and encouragement. In a world that constantly changes, faith remains a constant source of strength. The lessons from Fatima teach that no matter the circumstances, there is always an opportunity to turn toward God, to seek peace, and to embrace the guidance of Our Lady. The call to pray the Rosary, to seek spiritual renewal, and to live a life of faith is as relevant now as it was when it was first given to the three shepherd children. Another key aspect of the Fatima story is the emphasis on conversion and devotion. The Immaculate Heart of Mary was presented as a source of refuge and comfort, a place where believers could find solace and divine protection. The promise that her heart would triumph in the end serves as a beacon of hope, reminding the world that faith will always overcome darkness. The messages given in Fatima are not just historical events, they are ongoing invitations to deepen one's faith. They remind people to trust in God's plan, to embrace prayer as a way of life, and to spread kindness and love. In every era, people are faced with choices, and the Fatima message serves as a guide, showing that faith, prayer, and devotion lead to a life filled with peace and purpose. As believers reflect on the third secret, they may find that its meaning continues to unfold in new ways. Some may see it as a reminder of past events, while others may view it as a message that speaks to personal growth and spiritual transformation. Regardless of how one interprets it, the most important takeaway is that faith is always relevant, and the call to seek God through prayer and devotion remains unchanged. With each passing year, the legacy of Our Lady of Fatima continues to inspire countless individuals. The churches dedicated to Our Lady's message, the prayers offered in her honor, and the devotion of the faithful all stand as evidence of the lasting impact of these revelations. So as we reflect on the meaning of Fatima, one question remains: how can each person embrace the message today? Is it through prayer? Through acts of kindness? Through personal reflection? The answer may be different for each individual, but the core of Our Lady's message is the same: faith, love, and devotion are the keys to a fulfilling spiritual journey. The invitation to follow the path laid out in Fatima remains open to all. Whether through reciting the Rosary, deepening one's faith, or spreading kindness, each person has the opportunity to be a part of the message and to carry its light forward into the world. The story of Fatima is far from over. It is a living message, one that continues to call people toward faith, toward peace, and toward the boundless love of God. The message of Our Lady of Fatima continues to resonate across generations, not only as a historical event, but as a living call to faith and spiritual renewal. Even as the world moves forward, the lessons imparted through the Fatima apparitions remain deeply relevant, inviting individuals to reflect on their faith, their choices, and their relationship with God. As time progresses, many continue to explore what the fulfillment of the Third Secret and other revelations mean for humanity today. For those who have followed the Fatima message, the emphasis has always been on prayer, devotion, and the transformation of the heart. The revelations given to Sister Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta were not just meant for their time, but for all people in all places, as a reminder that faith is a journey of continual growth, renewal, and commitment. One of the most significant aspects of the Fatima apparitions is the call to conversion of heart and mind. This message has echoed throughout history, reminding people that through prayer, faith, and sincere devotion, they can draw closer to God and live lives filled with peace and purpose. The Immaculate Heart of Mary, presented as a refuge and source of grace, remains a symbol of divine love and mercy, welcoming all who seek comfort and guidance. Among the many elements of the Fatima revelations, one of the most enduring is the emphasis on the Rosary. Time and time again, Our Lady urged believers to pray the Rosary daily, describing it as a powerful spiritual weapon and a pathway to divine intercession. The Rosary is more than just a series of prayers. It is a meditation on the life of Christ, a way to deepen one's relationship with God, and a source of strength and peace in difficult times. The power of prayer and devotion has been demonstrated throughout history, with many believers finding hope and reassurance in their faith. Countless individuals have turned to the Rosary as a source of comfort, reciting its prayers with trust and devotion, believing in the grace and blessings that flow from it. The Rosary is not simply a tradition. It is an invitation to enter into deeper communion with God and to receive His guidance and protection. As the world continues to evolve, the question arises: how does the Fatima message apply to modern times? Has its fulfillment come to completion, or does it still hold wisdom and lessons for people today? Many believe that, rather than being a closed chapter in history, the message of Fatima remains an open call to faith, one that each individual is invited to embrace in their own lives. One of the most beautiful aspects of Our Lady's message at Fatima is that it is not a message meant only for religious scholars, clergy, or visionaries. It is a message for everyone, for people from all walks of life, regardless of their background or level of faith. The call to prayer, sacrifice, and devotion is one that can be followed in small, everyday ways, making it accessible to all who desire to live with greater faith and love. Holiness is not found in grand gestures alone, but in the simple acts of love and kindness performed daily. The Fatima message teaches that even the smallest actions, a kind word, a heartfelt prayer, a moment of reflection, can bring people closer to God. Every act of goodness, when done with sincerity, is a step toward living out the faith. For many, the call to devotion to the Immaculate Heart is a reminder that God's love is always present, always welcoming, and always forgiving. No matter how distant one may feel from their faith, there is always a path back to divine grace. The message of Fatima assures believers that through prayer, humility, and trust, they can always find renewal and peace. Over the years, there have been numerous testimonies of individuals who have experienced profound moments of faith and transformation through devotion to Our Lady of Fatima. Many have shared personal accounts of answered prayers, moments of peace, and renewed faith after embracing the message of Fatima in their daily lives. Stories of physical healings, spiritual conversions, and miraculous encounters continue to be shared by people from different parts of the world. Some speak of finding strength in difficult times, while others describe how prayer has led them to discover a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. These testimonies serve as reminders that faith is not just about understanding historical events, but about experiencing the power of divine love and grace in personal ways. One of the most well-known sites of pilgrimage today is the Sanctuary of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal, where millions of people visit each year to pray, reflect, and seek spiritual renewal. Pilgrims from all walks of life come to offer prayers of gratitude, seek comfort in times of hardship, and deepen their devotion. Many describe their visits as life-changing, filled with a profound sense of peace and closeness to God. The continued devotion to Our Lady of Fatima across generations speaks to the timelessness of her message. Her call to prayer, conversion, and trust in divine mercy remains just as relevant today as it was over a century ago. The beauty of the Fatima apparitions is that they do not point to a single moment in time, but rather offer a continuous call to faith and spiritual growth. While many believe that much of the prophecy has been fulfilled, others see it as an ongoing invitation to live with greater devotion, love, and awareness of God's presence. In a world that is often filled with distractions, uncertainty, and challenges, the message of Fatima provides a source of hope and clarity. It reminds people that no matter what happens, faith remains a guiding force that can bring strength, comfort, and renewal. Those who embrace the Fatima message find that it leads to a deeper understanding of faith, a renewed commitment to prayer, and a stronger sense of connection with God. It is a message that encourages people to live with kindness, humility, and devotion, knowing that every prayer, every good deed, and every act of faith contributes to the greater good. As believers continue to reflect on the messages of Fatima, the most important question remains: how can we apply these teachings to our lives today? While the visions, secrets, and historical events are deeply significant, their true meaning comes to life when they are lived out in everyday actions. Whether through prayer, acts of kindness, or personal devotion, each individual has the opportunity to respond to the call of Fatima in their own unique way. Some may choose to pray the rosary daily, while others may find ways to serve others with love and compassion. The beauty of faith is that it can be lived in countless ways, all of which bring light and goodness into the world. The story of Fatima is not just a story of the past, it is a living message, an ongoing call to faith and devotion. It continues to inspire, transform, and guide those who seek to deepen their relationship with God. As the years pass, Our Lady's message remains as powerful as ever, serving as a beacon of hope, a reminder of divine love, and an invitation to embrace faith with an open heart. So as we reflect on the meaning of Fatima, the question for each of us is: how will we respond to this call? Will we embrace prayer, faith, and devotion in our own lives? Will we seek spiritual renewal and a closer relationship with God? The invitation remains open. Faith is always within reach, and the love of God is always present for those who seek it. The message of Our Lady of Fatima is more than just a historical event. It is a continuous invitation to faith, prayer, and spiritual renewal. Over a century has passed since the three shepherd children received their visions, yet the call to seek divine guidance, embrace the power of prayer, and trust in God's mercy remains as relevant as ever. Many continue to wonder about the true depth of these messages, reflecting on their significance in today's world and what it means to fully live according to Our Lady's requests. For those who have studied and followed the Fatima revelations, one thing is clear: faith is a journey. The messages given to Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta were not simply for their time, but for all generations, providing a pathway towards spiritual transformation. The emphasis on prayer, devotion, and trust in the Immaculate Heart of Mary has echoed through the decades, reminding people that faith is a choice, a way of life, and a source of divine grace. One of the most enduring aspects of the Fatima apparitions is the importance of the Rosary. Throughout her messages, Our Lady repeatedly asked for the daily recitation of the Rosary, describing it as a powerful tool for spiritual protection and divine intercession. This devotion is not just a tradition, it is a living prayer, a way to meditate on the life of Christ and the mysteries of faith. Many who have embraced this devotion have shared their own testimonies of grace and answered prayers, describing moments of deep peace, healing, and guidance after committing to the Rosary as part of their daily lives. This act of devotion has been encouraged by the leaders of the Church, who have continuously reinforced the importance of turning to prayer in all circumstances, seeking strength and wisdom through the Immaculate Heart of Mary. While the events of Fatima occurred in 1917, the message itself transcends time, speaking to all people in all places at every stage of life. The request for prayer, conversion, and devotion to the Immaculate Heart is just as urgent today as it was over a century ago. But how can people apply the Fatima message to their daily lives? The beauty of this message is that it is not complicated. It does not require grand gestures or dramatic changes, but instead invites small, meaningful acts of faith that bring people closer to God. Simple practices such as praying the rosary daily, making acts of kindness, reflecting on one's faith, and seeking reconciliation with God can all lead to profound spiritual renewal. One of the most important lessons from Fatima is that faith is not passive, it is something that must be actively lived and nurtured. The Fatima message calls people to look inward, to examine their hearts, and to strive for a deeper connection with God. It is a reminder that every prayer matters, every act of faith makes a difference, and every moment spent in devotion brings one closer to divine grace. Throughout history, people have faced moments of uncertainty and challenges. Yet, in every generation, faith has served as a source of hope and reassurance. The message of Our Lady of Fatima reminds believers that, no matter what challenges they may face, God's love and mercy are always present, offering guidance, peace, and comfort. For many, devotion to Our Lady of Fatima has been life-changing. Stories of individuals who have experienced spiritual healing, deepened faith, and renewed purpose through embracing the Fatima message continue to emerge. Many have spoken of how prayer and devotion have helped them navigate difficult moments, bringing them closer to God and strengthening their trust in divine providence. One of the most well-known testimonies comes from pilgrims who have visited the sanctuary of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal. Millions of people travel there each year, seeking spiritual renewal and moments of grace. Some come with prayers of gratitude, others come seeking comfort, and many leave feeling transformed by the presence of Our Lady. The continuing devotion to Fatima across generations is a testament to the power of faith. Even in times of uncertainty, people find strength in the messages of Our Lady, turning to her for guidance, protection, and intercession. This devotion serves as a bridge between heaven and earth, connecting believers to the profound mysteries of faith and inviting them to deepen their spiritual lives. As time moves forward, some may wonder, has the message of Fatima been fulfilled? Is there still more to be understood? Many believe that, while much of what was foretold has come to pass, the message itself is timeless, always offering new insights and guidance for those who seek it. The Fatima message is not just about the past. It is about how people choose to live today and in the future. The call to prayer, devotion, and faithfulness is an ongoing invitation, reminding each person that they have the opportunity to draw closer to God every single day. One of the most comforting aspects of Our Lady's promises is her assurance that her Immaculate Heart will triumph. This is not just a statement about the world, but also a message for each individual. It is a promise that, no matter the challenges one may face, faith will always lead to peace, grace, and ultimate victory. For those who continue to reflect on the Fatima message, the question is not simply whether the prophecies have been fulfilled, but rather how the message can be lived out each day. Have we embraced prayer and devotion in our lives? Have we sought to deepen our faith? Have we taken steps to grow closer to God and Our Lady? The beauty of the Fatima apparitions is that they offer a path to faith that is open to all. No matter where a person is on their spiritual journey, there is always an opportunity to embrace prayer, deepen devotion, and strengthen trust in God. The message of Our Lady of Fatima is a gift, an invitation to enter into a deeper relationship with God. It is a reminder that faith is always accessible, that prayer is always powerful, and that devotion to the Immaculate Heart brings peace and renewal. For those who wish to embrace the Fatima message, there are countless ways to do so: praying the rosary, seeking spiritual reflection, living with kindness and compassion, and trusting in divine mercy. Every small step taken in faith leads to a greater transformation of heart and soul. As time passes, the story of Our Lady of Fatima will continue to inspire, challenge, and guide future generations. The message remains as powerful today as it was over a century ago, calling people to live with faith, love, and devotion. So, as we reflect on the significance of Fatima, the question remains, how will we respond to this call? Will we choose to deepen our faith, embrace prayer, and seek spiritual renewal? The invitation is open to all, and the promise of Our Lady's love and intercession remains ever present. The story of Fatima is far from over. It is a living message, a call that continues to echo through time, inviting every heart to draw closer to the love of God and the protection of the Immaculate Heart of Mary.